Hello everyone, this is Showtime 112. As Germany invaded the Soviet Union in June 1941, Mussolini was determined not to be left out, and Italy sent ground and air units to join the attack. Commanded by Colonel Carlo Drago, the air component known as Comando Aviazione initially deployed to Tudora, Romania on 12 August 1941. Though the Comando Aviazione was part of the Italian Expeditionary Corps in Russia, Corpo di Spedizione Italiano in Russia, it was usually subordinated to the Luftwaffe. It had 1,900 personnel assigned to it, including 140 officers and 180 NCOs. This video is sponsored by Cloutier. He's the author of Mussolini's War in the East, an exciting book about Italian combat operations in the Soviet Union. If you want to learn more about this relatively unknown part of World War II history, click the link in the video description. The formation consisted of several units, including the 22nd Fighter Group, commanded by Major Giovanni Borzoni. The group included 4 squadrons instead of the usual 3. It was equipped with 51 Macchi C.200 Saetta, or Lightning fighters. The C.200 was a monoplane fighter introduced to service in August 1939, just before the start of World War II. Although relatively modern, it lagged somewhat behind British and German fighters of the time, primarily because of its underpowered engine and light armament. It was armed with only 2 12.7mm machine guns, and it was capable of a maximum speed of only 312 miles per hour. On the positive side, in 1940 to 1941, the Macchi C.200 could outclimb other fighter aircraft of the period. The Macchi C.200 had a climb rate of 3,010 feet per minute. The Soviet Polikarpov I-16 had a climb rate of 2,890 feet per minute. The Hawker Hurricane Mark II had a climb rate of 2,780 feet per minute. The Supermarine Spitfire Mark II had a climb rate of 2,995 feet per minute. The Macchi C.200's Italian competitor, the Fiat G50, also had an inferior rate of climb of 2,734 feet per minute. Its top speed was inferior as well at 293 miles per hour, but it could outturn the C.200. All these figures can vary according to engine type, maintenance, and source material. In 1941, the Soviet Air Force was still equipped with many outdated fighters such as I-15 biplanes and I-16 monoplanes. Italian veteran pilots of the Spanish Civil War were familiar with Soviet fighters and had bested them in air combat in their own CR-32 biplanes. Now, flying more modern and equally maneuverable C-200s, Italian fighter pilots coped quite well with these Soviet fighters. Other elements of the Comando Aviazione included the 61st Reconnaissance Group. This unit was equipped with 30 Caproni CA-311, a light twin-engine bomber and recon aircraft. In September 1941, the 245th Transportation Squadron joined the Regia Aeronautica on the Russian front. This unit was equipped with 10 SM-81 transports. As the Germans and their allies advanced deep into Soviet Union, the Italian air contingent began its redeployment to the airfield of Kryvyi Rog, or Kryvyi Rih, in Ukraine on 26 August. The next day, August 27, saw the first encounter with the Soviets. The Italian fighters clashed with a large group of Soviet Tupolev SB-2 bombers, escorted by Polikarpov I-16 fighters. 6 Soviet bombers and 2 fighters were claimed destroyed, plus 2 more of each as probables, without any Italian losses. This success was followed by a period in which combat with enemy aircraft was rare, and most sorties were flown in support of ground forces. Neither the Macchi C-200 fighters nor the light bomber reconnaissance Caproni CA-311 were particularly suitable for this task, carrying only light bomb load and firepower. In September 1941, Italian ground units captured the industrial city of Stalino in eastern Ukraine, which is now called Donetsk. This necessitated another move for the 22nd Fighter Group, which transferred to Zaporizhia. The weather was worsening, and heavy rains soon gave way to snow and low temperatures. Italian aircraft, generally built for warmer climates, suffered under these conditions. Combat sorties became less frequent. In November, the Italian 9th Pasubio semi-motorized division came under heavy Soviet attack during Italian operations in the suburbs of Horlivka or Gorlovka. A column of the 80th Regiment, commanded by Colonel Chiaramonti, became encircled in the suburb of Nikitovka. The 371st Fighter Squadron flew sorties to support Chiaramonti's besieged command, but poor weather handicapped its efforts. On 12 November, Macchi C-200 fighters operating from Stalino airfield provided ground support to a group of Black Shirt legionnaires who had succeeded in forcing open a corridor through Soviet lines. The Italians strengthened their corridor and broke out of Nikitovka during the night under cover of blizzard conditions. On 20 December 1941, Italian recon pilots observed and reported a buildup of Soviet forces opposite the sector of the Italian Expeditionary Force. On 25 December 1941, the Red Army began what the Italians called the Christmas Battle. The offensive forced Italian ground units to retreat, but a counterattack with German assistance ended with the Italians and Germans in possession of more territory than what they began with. During counterattack on 28 December 1941, the C-200s of the 359th Fighter Squadron claimed 9 Polikarpov I-16 fighters, while losing 1 C-200. The Soviet fighters were strafing Italian ground troops, but were then attacked by the Macchis. During December, Italian fighter pilots claimed 14 Soviet airplanes shot down. Extreme weather conditions forced the Italians to reduce their activities in January of 1942, but the tempo picked up again. On 4 February 1942, a couple of dozen C-200s of the 22nd Group attacked the Soviet airfield at Krasny Liman. The Italians repeated the mission the next day. According to Italian claims, 20 Soviet fighters and medium bombers were destroyed on the ground, while 5 were claimed shot down in aerial combat in those 2 days. The Italians suffered no losses in either battle. On 17 March, 14 Macchi fighters attacked the Soviet airfield at Puskotovo, destroying several planes on the ground. On 24 March, the Russians repaid the courtesy, attacking the Italian airfield at Stalino, leaving a number of Italian aircraft destroyed on the ground, as well as several Italian servicemen killed and wounded. For the period between August 1941 and May 1942, the 22nd Fighter Group was credited with 66 kills, 16 probables, and 45 damaged enemy aircraft. This was part 1 of our video about the Italian Air Force in the Soviet Union. Be sure to press the like button. Join our Patreon supporters or donate on PayPal because that's the only way for the channel to keep producing new content. Thank you in advance and keep watching Showtime 112.